So you're probably building some front ends with AI, and you've probably also seen this purple blue gradient come across in your vibe coded app. So what you want to do is actually give it more context around styling, font, spacing, and you'll be able to improve your front ends much better. So we're going to go through 5 different ways to improve your front end with AI. Okay, so screenshots are a good start, but the code it produces is not good enough. It misses context, spacing, font, and mostly styling. So I try to emulate a website through V0, Claude Code, and an app called Super Design to kind of demonstrate that. So the example app that we have is called lindy.ai. I have no affiliation with them. Basically, they help you run agents for your business. And I took a screenshot of this app through an extension called Go Full Page, which I'll link below. And I put it into V0. So the yellow background here is missing. The tabs here are missing. It did the container right. It's got some basic icons, but you can tell it's very vibe coded. Then here we have this with Claude Code of use this reference, and it's got these random things here. We've got the infamous purple gradient. It's not really in line. We got the basic cards. Once again, very vibe coded. I broke this down a little bit more with the app called Super Design. This yellow is much better, the text lining is much better, and what's more impressive, even though the tabs here aren't working, is this part which emulates it much better to here. So what we're going to do is try and iterate this and understand, okay, what tips and what ways can we do to improve it so it matches this design much better. So we're going to use Claude Code, Super Design, maybe a bit of Cursor. And tip number 1 is reference good websites. Even though you're uploading screenshots and they might not be able to do it well in one shot, having good website and designs that have been made with great taste is important. So this is a website. I think you can do a trial and then it will be paid, but you can actually really understand and extract, okay, what are the main parts of the website that have been really well done and which parts that you want of it. And 2 other ones, Awards is more a creative website that I like for inspiration, and Behance is more graphic based. But yeah, this is tip number 1 of what you want to do. Okay, so for tip number 2 is extract real CSS and styles. It's something seemingly obvious, but something we haven't thought about. We just put in the screenshot. So inspect element, going into your HTML, let's just take what we have here, and we've copied it, and we'll come back to it. So step number 3 is break it down and create one reference page. So if you think about it, you want to combine what you got from the reference of your goods websites, the screenshots, and then the CSS we just copied. And we want to take one HTML file which has the sections that we want. And if you think about Mobbin and what we had here in this random website with no affiliation towards, you look at, okay, the navigation, the social proof or the features section, like your website is going to have different components, right? Like, so if we exit here, we have the kind of hero action, the agent section, the features section, and I don't know, some testimonials most likely, and then the footer. So you're not going to like copy this whole website and then just like get it to clone. That's not really the main objective of just front end design. It's more like, okay, which parts do I want to take and do I want to use and implement? So if you look at this tool that I mentioned earlier, you probably just want, I don't know, this part looks cool, the agents part looks cool. I don't really care about these like logos right now, but I want the feature section. So it's been quite selective in what you want. Let's just take a few sections that we like. And we're going to use Super Design. And what I like so far is this part already matches here. We just have to provide the BG later. But we could iterate on the agent section and the features section. And the part I like about it is you can add this and export straight to an HTML file. And yeah, so first of all, let's just add this. And then we're going to copy this prompt here. We want to emulate the Lindy page. We have the CSS for it. So let's copy that there. Oops, and let's copy this here. It's not very well formatted, but we can also provide the styles. Okay, and let's see if we can add better reference files for here. Okay, so it's also doing some clarifications of like use interview questions. Should I start the agent section? Let's do the agent section only next. Hard-coded HTML, yeah, that's fine. Simplified approach. Do you like to integrate all of your with this design? Simplified approach. Okay, so I like that it asks questions. It's very similar to how Claude Code works. It's generating code, thinking. And next, while we're at it, we want to work on this features section. So it's quite large, so we can do that. Copy the clipboard. Okay, let's see how well it did. Okay, yeah, this is much better. And then if we click into marketing, that's also pretty good. So I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so now we're going to work piecemeal by piecemeal. So we want to focus on this features section. And can I add it? Yeah. Now we want to work on the features section. This is the attached image. I also have a prompt here. We don't need the exact images. We just want to emulate the layout. And my spelling's a bit off, but whatever. So let's see if it confirms. Maybe it's gonna give a brand new section. Not sure. Okay, yeah, it's a feature section. Good start. Iterate on the fact that the text is inside the squares, grids. We can give it a reference image again, like this. Here, yeah, we can edit these parts, but it's looking pretty good. Like, it needs to be tighter, and the images and the design, but for what it is, I think it's pretty good. It definitely doesn't just look sloppy vibe coded. So with 4 and 5, I'm going to combine them, but with number 4, we're going to run and create a PRD spec that aligns the HTML parts and features that we created in Super Design. And then we're going to also add some Claude Skills and go over some tooling that helps the LLM align better. So I'll quickly go to number 5, and basically there's a tweet that I'll link, and there's just a lot of these new skills or MD files that are coming out that allow the LLM to process things better by Claude Code, Vercel, and other people building things. So there's that, and then with the spec, I've actually written a prompt that I'll go over quickly. But here I've done that. I'm adding some files. I'll also go over the HTML again. I mean the CSS. Okay. And then, okay.
2,000 years later.
Okay, so this took a few minutes, and basically it was able to do something. So let's give it a go. Okay, wow, so there's some spacing here that's not great, but this clearly looks much better. So yeah, it's uniform there. This is very well done, I believe. And yeah, like, let's first of all go back to our initial Claude Code of look at this screenshot. It's got purple gradients. The features section was was just this. Compare it to what we got now. And then if we compare it to what we have like here, this of course is much better, but it's done pretty well compared to this and the typical vibe code purple blue. That's it. In summary, reference good websites, extract the CSS from it, break down those screenshots into different components that you want to use in a website. And number 4 is put that all together into a PRD and a spec that aligns with the components you broke down, and then implement it with Claude Code. And then number 5 is more around tooling. Make sure that you understand what might be working in the current industry, and then try and use them as best as possible and see if they benefit you or not. So if you enjoyed this, please feel free to subscribe, and I'll keep you updated with more AI workflows and tips that I might have. Cheers.